No way this just happened. This trade blew me away. I cannot believe the value. After he signed as a free agent this past offseason, I already knew when he signed that he was going to do something for the Penguins. I just didn't know that what he was going to do for the Penguins was more off the ice than on the ice. This trade is unbelievable for the Penguins' future. We have breaking news here on Penguins Digest, and I'm so pumped up. But first, before we get into the breaking news, you guys need to subscribe to Penguins Digest. More and more of you are subscribing, and we have more and more news to break here on this channel. Updates, analysis, and literally a live stream at 2 o'clock today talking about the trade deadline and everything that's happening with Kyle Dubas and the Penguins leading up to this year's deadline. Anthony Beauvillier was just traded to the Washington Capitals a few moments ago for a second-round pick. One of the craziest trades that I can remember in recent memory, because Anthony Beauvillier is a pending unrestricted free agent with a team-friendly cap hit, and the Penguins just hit a gold mine trading him to the Caps for a second-rounder. And let me clarify, the second-round pick that the Penguins received was the Washington Capitals' own second-round pick. They did have 2 second-round picks. Now they have 1. They shipped this one to the Pittsburgh Penguins in exchange for Anthony Beauvillier. And Anthony Beauvillier is a great player. I like Beauvillier a lot, but he's a bottom 6 forward. Trading a second-round pick for a bottom 6 forward, I don't think you can make that make sense to me. I don't think you can convince me that Kyle Dubas did not just fleece the Washington Capitals and rob them blind of their second-round pick in the 2025 draft. The Penguins just continue to collect draft picks. They continue to hit it big. That was an amazing free agent signing. Beauvillier was effective when he played all line with Sid. Other than that, he didn't do a whole lot for the Penguins. I'll show you his stats here while we're at it. Might as well talk about Anthony Beauvillier and what he's done for the Penguins. 63 games played, 13 goals, 7 assists, 20 points, 120 shots on goal, a -1 rating, which is one of the best plus-minus ratings on our entire roster. The Capitals knew that he was going to bolster their bottom 6, and they were willing to give us a pretty penny for Anthony Beauvillier. Now, when I made a video just a little bit ago, guys, a few videos ago, I talked about all the Penguins that I expect to be traded. Beauvillier was the first name that came to mind because of his cap hit. He is a very team-friendly contract, and every team pretty much in the entire National Hockey League could afford Anthony Beauvillier. So Beauvillier's cap hit is only $1.25 million, and the Capitals are giving us a second-round pick for an affordable winger to play on their bottom 6 and give them a little bit of depth as they try to push for another Stanley Cup for Alex Ovechkin. This is just perfect, guys. This is best case scenario for both teams. So if you break down the trade, it's really simple. It's 1-for-1. It's Beau for a second-round pick. That's it. That's all the trade is. The Penguins are getting a second-round pick straight up for Anthony Beauvillier. No strings attached. It's not a conditional pick. It is a straight-up second-round pick in the 2025 draft, which has a ton of value. That is literally the equivalent of a top-of-the-line third-round pick, because it's going to be a late second-round pick, because obviously the Caps are going to finish pretty good this year. So it's a late second. But that is still a decent prospect you can get with a second-round pick. I mean, there have been some notable players that the Penguins have picked up in the second round. So I'm very happy to get another second-round pick. The only thing better than a second-round pick is a first-round pick. So I am very happy with that, considering the guy that we traded away is Anthony Beauvillier. And not to, offend Anthony Beauvillier or say anything bad about him, but he's not that good. So to trade that guy for a second-round pick is absolutely wild. You don't even have to think twice about it that Kyle Dubas won this trade. 100% he won this trade. And this article right here, the only reason I'm showing you this is because don't look at the headline. Look at what's under the headline. It's a great time to be a seller. And it is. It's a great time to be a seller because the Penguins are cashing in on all these teams desperate for all these different things. There are so many players that we could trade away right now and get a ton of value out of Anthony Beauvillier when he was signed. This was a bargain contract. This was like a prove-it deal for Beauvillier. We're giving him $1.25 million to say, hey, buddy, you're going to be a bottom 6 winger for our team. Just, hey, let's see if you could still cut it at the NHL level. Because he's been a spotty player in his career, with Vancouver, with the Islanders. He's never really been that guy. He's still a bottom 6 winger, and we just got a second-round pick for him. This is an example of a Kyle Dubas signing going right because we get a second-round pick for free. We didn't need Beauvillier. He was just taking up space on our roster. He was a pending UFA, and we get a second-round pick. Are you kidding me? I almost didn't believe it when I first saw this trade. 27 years old, Anthony Beauvillier. He's a 5'11" winger, joined the Penguins, 1-year deal, and he played for the Islanders. He was a first-round pick, obviously. Now we get a second-round pick for him. He's also split time between the Canucks, the Blackhawks, the Predators, the Penguins. Now Beauvillier is a Washington Capital, and he's trying to win a Stanley Cup. That's what it's all about, ladies and gentlemen. Bo is going to a really good hockey team, and there's no doubt about it that the Caps have all the pieces to win a cup. But this is the crazy part, is that Beauvillier, even though he is a useful forward and a great depth piece on any team in the National Hockey League, he's going to be a bottom six winger for this team. A bottom six winger. They were that convinced that he could help them this much that they're willing to part ways with a second-round pick. That is what's crazy to me, because Bo is good, but he's not worth a second-round pick. I mean, it's absolutely wild. And Kyle Dubas literally just said, we talked about what Kyle Dubas said about this market. And guys, I'm just going to show you the graphic again, because it makes sense still to this moment, Kyle Dubas' opinion on the market right now leading up to the trade deadline. He said, this is one of the more unique trade markets that I've encountered leading up to the trade deadline. He says there's a lot of parity and different strategies that contending teams have deployed, combined with teams that are out of the race being very clear that the salary cap going up at the 25-26 and the 2 years beyond, they plan to be aggressive with their acquisitions come July, and I think we are positioned well over the next few years, but especially heading into the summer and beyond, to continue to execute our plan as we have been for the last 12 months and continue to work to return the Penguins back into contention as soon as possible. And these are the trades that do that. Ladies and gentlemen, these are the trades that do that. Kyle Dubas was going to get nothing for Bo if he went to free agency this summer. He was fielding these offers for Anthony Beauvillier for the last couple weeks, trying to gauge the market, and he gets a second-round pick. He hit a gold mine. This is what waiting does for you. You have the luxury to sit here and say, I'm going to hold firm. I'm going to hold pat on the value that I labeled this player at, and if you don't meet my asking price, I'm not trading them. Well, here's the problem. Anthony Beauvillier, he didn't have that same luxury. He didn't have the same leverage that he has over a guy like Rickard Rakell or Erik Karlsson, that he can wait till the offseason. He didn't have leverage with Bo. He had a little bit of leverage, but he made his own leverage here, guys, because Bo would have went to free agency and any team could have picked him up. So the Capitals are paying a second-round pick for a rental. A rental. It's unbelievable. This is one of the greatest trades that Kyle Dubas has made as a Pittsburgh Penguin GM. I mean, this is an incredible haul for a guy like Anthony Beauvillier. A second-round pick. Dude, I can't even, guys, when I saw this trade, I couldn't believe it. That's why I showed you guys 3 different sources. I needed to see it from different sources because he absolutely robbed the Capitals blind. All right, Chris Johnson tweets it out. He says, Caps send a second-round pick to Pittsburgh for Anthony Beauvillier. Then we see Pierre LeBrun talk about it. He starts talking about, okay, well, they got the second-round pick from the Capitals because they have multiple second-round picks, so we have to clarify which second-round pick are they getting. And then Puckpedia tweets it out. Puckpedia is like, hey, this great contract is going to the Washington Capitals for a second-round pick. And then the Penguins' own Twitter, Penguins' own Instagram, Penguins' own Facebook, Penguins' own account goes, hey, we traded Anthony Beauvillier to Washington Capitals. And that's what sold it for me. I was like, you know what? That's it. Hey, I believe it. I'm making a video. And here I am making a video about Anthony Beauvillier. He's the Washington Capital, a high-flying Capital. Those guys are going to compete for a Stanley Cup this year. They have a heck of a squad. I love the team that they built. They did what the Penguins couldn't do. Retool on the fly and give another chance at Alex Ovechkin being in the Stanley Cup final and winning another Stanley Cup. They gave him that chance by managing that team so well. Their coach is awesome. Spencer Carberry. Love Spencer Carberry. Very big fan of that team, what they've done, and Anthony Beauvillier is going to fit like a glove. He's going to fit like a glove. Was he worth a second-round pick? Absolutely not, but he will fit like a glove, and he will be an impact player, especially come postseason time for the Capitals. So good for Beauvillier. Love you, dude. Love you, Anthony Beauvillier. You did good things for this team. Even if it wasn't on the ice, you got us a second-round pick, and I love you for it, man. I love you for it. Anthony Beauvillier, Penguins legend at this point, ladies and gentlemen. Penguins legend, Anthony Beauvillier. Have fun in Washington. Win that Stanley Cup, buddy. Win that cup. All right, that's it, guys, for this video here on Penguins Digest. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And we will be back with a live stream at 2 o'clock, breaking down everything that's happened, breaking down everything that's about to happen. This is chaos, and I love it. So subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back at 2 o'clock with the live stream.